So with George Metz, with G Metz Moving and Storage in the studio today, George, later on in the show, I wanted to share with our listeners this thing we're calling the Dollar Club. We just started this program today. We're just rolling it out today, but we have a similar story. You recently had an experience, you and your wife had an experience with our team. Would you like to share that experience and what we did and what happened?
Yes. So she did her due diligence and went out and looked up real estate agents and came across you, which me personally, I think you're definitely one of the best in the state at what you do.
Thank you.
So she did everything that she needed to, did her research, and had to put the home on the market. It's an older home in Cranston in a very nice location. Mm-hmm. There wasn't much competition in the neighborhood, so she definitely looked to a real estate agent for the right assistance and the right direction. We ended up putting it on the market with you. Mm-hmm. She got under contract and was hoping for quick results. And after a few weeks, there was a lot of foot traffic, mm-hmm. But not much on the offer side of it. Mm-hmm. So again, we went back to you, and what should we do? What's the next steps? And overall, it ended up turning into just take up a rug to show some hardwoods that were there, splat some paint on the wall, and get it fresh looking again, and just change a couple light fixtures and some covers for some light switches. And within, I think it was that weekend after we did it, we had an offer.
Exactly.
So
list price.
The small things that you do add up big. Mm-hmm. And again, listening to a professional real estate agent on what to do when is key. Again, no matter if it's somebody else or you, it's listening to what your professional is telling you should do and when you should do it. You have to pay attention, and that makes it move much quicker. I think it was on the market overall for 2.5 months, maybe.
Yep.
We did the updates, and it was gone within a few days, which was amazing.
So what did we do to that? And stay tuned, obviously, in our third segment of the show, because we're going to talk a little bit more in detail about this program called the Dollar Club. Matt's going to weigh in with some of his experiences on the mortgage end too. But basically, guys, we walked in, and this lovely home that was built in the 70s,
yep.
right?
Yep.
Lovely home that was built in the 70s. It had a carpet over the hardwoods. That's normal. People used to do that all the time. They ripped up the carpet. Okay, hardwoods were pristine. They didn't have to do anything. They pulled some of the staples out. Big deal, right? They changed the color of the home from a yellow type of color to a nice modern gray. Okay, and they also changed a couple light fixtures and switched out some of the plates from like brass-looking plates to like the golden kind of like or brass-looking plates to white plastic plates because they're more modern and clean. And then we moved some furniture around, staged it a bit. George, all in all, what was your total expense for that?
Overall, with everything done, luckily I am handy enough to do it. If you can do it, just especially when you're working around electrical, make sure you shut off the power before you do anything. Trust me, I've learned. But those are the things that if you can do it, that's great. Overall, all in, we were less than $500 to do the updates.
Less than $500, okay. That's not bad at all. And I mean, there's a similar home that sold in the area for about $6,000 less. So that $500 is going to sell their home compared to a comparable home at $6,000 more.
Yep.
That's a huge return on investment.
Why not?
That's a big return on investment. So
exactly. Why not?
So why not? So I mean, you've heard it from somebody that's taken it, the advice from us, and now when we go into listings with the Dollar Club, we just say basically for every $1 worth of things that you decide to take our advice on, you should be able to net double. Okay, and we're going to guarantee that. We can talk about that in detail later on in the show, and in more detail, obviously in person, because every situation is unique and there's challenges to everything. So real quick. Just to summarize, you've got a 12 times return on investment. So for every $1 you put in, you got 11 back, right? There's my math right there. Yep. So for $500, you got $6,000 back. And again, we can track that with comparable homes, okay, in the area. That's awesome. And there was one.
The holding.
The holding time.
If that wasn't done, how much longer would it stay on the market, and how much money do we have to put in for utilities to keep the lights on, to keep the heat
Mortgage.
going, the mortgage, all this stuff that piles up that you really don't take into consideration. So the faster you do the updates and get it off the market, the faster and more money you keep in your pocket as well.